Whenever the Chennai Super Kings play, it's a given that the camera is going to be on two things. One is Mahendra Singh Dhoni, and the second is on the reaction of the crowd whenever he is on the big screen. While the camera today was panning on the crowd, I saw a poster which said to Mahendra Singh Dhoni, "Abhi na jao chhodkar, dil abhi bhara nahi." For years and years, we've been wondering whether this is Dhoni's last season, whether this is Dhoni's last season, whether this is Dhoni's last season. And every year, he keeps coming back and giving his fans a bit more. There is a reason, though, I feel that Mahendra Singh does not leave CSK because I feel in his heart of hearts, he still doesn't think the team is completely in safe hands if he's not around. We got to see a bit of that in today's game, and we will discuss all about today's result. But Sarvesh, first things first, let's talk about this wicket. This is the same ground where in the last game we saw Sunrisers score 277 and Mumbai scoring 246. Today we saw two teams struggling to get to 166. Can you explain for our viewers what the difference is here?
From what I heard is that the soil was different, the pitch was different. So on these stadiums, we have 3 to 4, normally 3 to 4 kind of pitches, and they are right next to each other. That's why we see differences in boundaries in every game. So last match was played on a different pitch, different strip. This was played on a different strip, and that's why you must have seen that the boundary size has also changed a bit. On either side, on one side it becomes slightly shorter, on the other side it becomes slightly longer. And when it comes to the actual surface, I think sometimes we get to see small, like those smaller finer changes, but I think today the change was not small. I think it was a uh, you could say that the soil was different from what I heard. It was a black soil is what I am deducing. And last match, it could be the story that the soil was probably a mixture of red and black soil. So that was the primary difference. Red soil is something which we get normally on Mumbai, which Mumbai wickets, or that typical western side. You must have seen similar wickets in Goa and the Konkan side, and even I remember when the IPL was supposed to get played in Mumbai the entire season. I think CSK was practicing in Ahmedabad, and they chose that red soil wicket. They decided that they will need to replicate that wicket. So I think they replicated that red soil wicket there in Ahmedabad. So I think when the soil changes, you get to see a lot of differences in the way pitch behaves. I think we saw what happened. 260, 277, and 165, 166. There's a huge difference. We saw ball was gripping and not exactly coming onto the bat like we saw last time. So I think there was a clear difference today.
Am I right in saying that this pitch is actually more suited for a team like CSK? Because if you look at their pattern and over the years when they play at Chennai, slow, low, turning surfaces is what Chennai thrived on. So would you say that this
Yeah.
wicket actually would have suited Chennai more than Sunrisers?
Yes, but again, you do not have Devon Conway at the top. So when those wickets used to be like that, he used to get those runs consistently. And now what is happening is, if Ruturaj Gaikwad, if he doesn't get going, then you don't have that second reliable batter. And Rachin is still young, still new, so he hasn't played a lot of cricket on similar wickets. So I think that is one factor. And in that middle order, I think I'll let you speak. You said you are missing somebody, and that particular batter, we know how he plays on these wickets. So I'll let you speak.
Right, let's come back to the game itself now. As you can see on that scoreboard, Chennai Super Kings batting first, 165 for 5 in their 20 overs. Shivam Dubey continuing to impress, 45 today of 24 deliveries. Not a lot to talk about after that, though. Ajinkya Rahane with 35 of 30 balls. Ravindra Jadeja, 31 of 23. Ruturaj Gaikwad at the top, 26 of 21. In coming back to what Sarvesh was saying, yeah, all good, valid points that Devon Conway not being there doesn't help, and the fact that they're not quite getting a couple of games they've got starts from Rachin Ravindra, but those have been on good wickets. As soon as the wickets kind of have become a bit slower, he's kind of struggled to find his timing on them. We haven't seen the best of Ruturaj Gaikwad yet in this tournament, and we have to understand that captaining a franchise, a big franchise like CSK, under the helm of Mahendra Singh Dhoni or under in the shadow of Mahendra Singh Dhoni is not easy. So we don't know whether that's affecting his free flowing ability um, as it does. But the key for me in the CSK performance is what happens in that middle order. Ajinkya Rahane, Ravindra Jadeja, Daryl Mitchell. All three of them, if you look at those strike rates on the right hand side, you've got Rahane going at 116. Jadeja, thanks to that last ball four that he hit, finally came up with 134. And Daryl Mitchell below him at 118. When you're batting in the middle order, which means you're batting number 4, 5, and 6, and you're going to be in positions to finish games for your sides, and you're going to be batting at the death, those strike rates there are not acceptable. Now, coming to that player who in the past CSK used to have was one Mr. Ambati Raidu. He used to come in the middle order, and regardless of the situation, I have seen Ambati Raidu play some phenomenal innings. And he used to be the one taking the initiative, hitting those sixes, getting those boundaries, making sure the innings doesn't get into a rut. Then MS Dhoni today coming in just to play for two balls. The only reason CSK got to 165 there is because in the middle, Shivam Dube kind of took the innings by the horns and kind of drove the momentum forward. Because without him today, they would have even struggled to get to 140.
Yeah, absolutely. And even with Shivam Dube, I will give a lot of credit to the way SRH made those bowling changes, because now I have seen this happen three times in this season. Today was the third occasion when I saw that wicket was falling. CSK wicket was falling on first or second ball of left arm spinners over, and then after that Shivam Dube came to bat, and then we must have seen that against Delhi Capitals it was Akshar Patel, and he started going after Akshar Patel from ball number one. Against GT, it didn't quite come off. I think it was Sai Kishore. It didn't quite come off there. But again today, the wicket fall. I think on the first ball, I think Ruturaj got out, and after that, Shivam Dube came in. He played two dot balls and then six, then four, and then he was already into that innings. He already had 10 runs to his name from four balls. So that's the start. I think that's the start I felt SRH gave him, but they did not have any control over this because when Ruturaj was batting, we didn't know wicket was going to fall on the first ball. So I mean, I'll give that to Pat Cummins that it was not his fault. But in that next over, they decided to bowl Mayank Markande, and I think even in that over, Shivam Dube absolutely he just took full advantage of that bowling change. So I think that was one mistake I felt that SRH did, and that allowed Shivam Dube to get to those 20-25 runs in no time. And we all know what Shivam Dube can do when he gets to that kind of a start. So he was looking in full mood to damage those middle overs. But again, smart thing was they had Jaydev Unadkat in that, especially to bowl in that middle overs phase. And I'll tell you some numbers about Jaydev Unadkat against Ajinkya Rahane. So in last 4-5 years, since 2018, Jaydev Unadkat had bowled four deliveries to Ajinkya Rahane, and he had got him out once, and he has only scored. Rahane could manage to score only one run in those four deliveries. Today, in the first over, three runs of five balls against Jaydev Unadkat. In the second over, I think he got two. He scored somewhere around 9 runs around that. And again in third over, he played two balls and he got out. So I think again today, Ajinkya Rahane versus Jaydev Unadkat, 12 runs from 13 balls, and he lost his wicket to Jaydev Unadkat's bowling eventually. So in the middle overs phase, if you're allowing somebody to bowl 2 overs for almost run a ball and then losing your wicket, that it doesn't help. The good work which Shivam Dube did, that was almost negated by Ajinkya Rahane and that Jaydev Unadkat battle. So those overs against Mayank and the left arm spinner, I think that good work was ruined there. That is one thing I noticed today.
No, no, absolute nail on the head with regards to what that Shivam Dubey and how that played out. One of our regular viewers, actually, his name is Pritesh Agarwal. He sent me a question today when the match was going on live, and he said to me, "What do you think about these tactics? Shivam Dubey is known to have an issue against fast bowling,
Yeah,
and yet they have continued." I mean, as you said, they couldn't do anything about that first over because he
yeah,
got five deliveries to play there. But that second
yeah,
over, they let Mayank Markande come in. He bowled. Then after that, when they got the fast bowler, it was Natarajan
yeah,
who came in
yeah,
rather than Pat Cummins coming in, and that also, I mean, Natarajan's pace is not going to trouble Shivam Dubey. He doesn't really have that short ball to kind of get to Shivam Dubey's throat, which meant that he hit him for a couple of sixes there as well.
yeah,
So overall, that was one trick I think that they missed in the
yeah,
game. But apart from that, yeah, they bowled brilliantly and managed resources very well. I mean, their bowling card will tell us
yeah.
how good they've been on the surface.
Yes.
And
I think
one particular,
there was one moment. I think when I felt Pat Cummins needed to come to bring himself in, and I think he did that. That Shivam Dube wicket, I think that was the over when I think Dube was expecting a fuller or shorter delivery. So if you could see his body was entirely closed because he was expecting something to get into that stump line or over his head or bouncer. But what happened was that's why his body was entirely closed. He was looking to play that shot on leg side, and what Cummins did, he bowled and a delivery which he wasn't expecting, way outside of that slower bouncer, And Shivam Dubey, his eyes just lit up. He just felt that he had to latch on to that, and so he could not do anything. He just played that shot from his instincts, and he could not time that, and that went directly to fielders. And I mean, if you could see his reaction, you will realize that
yeah,
he was actually foxed there by Pat Cummins. So I think that this is one thing I wanted to highlight because that this for this exact reason, SRH SRH brought Pat Cummins in as a skipper, and now you're already seeing that his brilliance in these games.
his smartness on the field is definitely visible.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
all know that he's a great captain and he's a great man manager. It was just his credentials with the ball, which were under a slight bit of question.
yeah,
But I feel he's learning because I'm seeing a lot of smarts that he's using in
yeah,
his own bowling.
yeah,
I mean, we've got two Australian pacers in the IPL, both bought for over 20 crores, but you can see the difference between a
difference.
Mitchell Stark and a Pat Cummins,
Yeah,
who are kind of we say it often, it's quite cheesy, but we say it's the difference is chalk and cheese.
yeah,
But um, one last question is, we've seen Mahendra Singh Dhoni's form in this tournament. Um, Man for man, when you ask yourself a question, who is a better finisher between Daryl Mitchell and Mahendra Singh Dhoni? The answer is Mahendra Singh Dhoni.
yes,
When you ask yourself the question, who can hit more sixes at the death? The answer is Mahendra Singh Dhoni. If you ask yourself the question, I even say who's a better runner between the wickets, even at this age, I think it would be Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Why didn't Dhoni come up
I
to
don't know.
to finish when Daryl Mitchell came into bat?
I completely agree. I was thinking that why is Dhoni not batting higher at six, maybe at seven, but today I think instead of batting number, I think we should talk about his entry point, and I think anything anywhere after 15th over, I think they should try to bring MS in. Because even if he gets out, if he comes in 16th over, and even if he gets out in 17th over, playing 7 or 8 deliveries, and he smashes two of those deliveries for sixes, then he would have already done his job. So I think there is no harm in bringing him early. If he survives those 3-4 overs, that is going to be a carnage. He's going to score for 30-40 runs in like no time in 12-13 deliveries. So that's going to be the double bonus for CSK. I felt that that's one trick the CSK also missed down the order. They should have brought MS up.
Yeah. And the second thing is, even we've seen Deepak Chahar in the past also,
Yeah,
he is great with the bat. He can hit the long ball. Yeah, just some smartness with that batting order, because once they held Mitchell back when they
yeah,
sent Ravindra Jadeja up to maintain that left-right combination,
yeah.
it made no sense sending him there because he's the sort of batter who will take a bit of time to get going, and once he's set and he's seeing the ball well, then he can clear any boundary. So yeah, just thought they missed a trick there.
Yeah.
Let's have a
Talking
quick
about
look.
Jadeja and Daryl Mitchell, I think we should look at the strike rates. What
Oh
happened
yes,
before?
yeah, yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so I was So this is the compilation of the what you're seeing in green is Daryl Mitchell, and in blue it's Ravindra Jadeja. You can see that their strike rates are not great. In that second game against GT, Jadeja played for only 2 or 3 deliveries, so that's why the strike rate is 233. But apart from that, if you look at those numbers, those are not great for players who are batting at number 4, 5, 6. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is what I was trying to highlight is that when you're playing number 456, 122, 120, 130.77, 118.18, these are not strike rates that are going to win you matches or finish games for your side.
Yeah,
You have to be batting, and we talk about what's a good strike rate for an opening batter. We talk about what's a good strike rate for a middle order batter and a finisher. When you're finishing, you've got to be close to that 200 run mark as a strike rate, because if you're playing 10 balls in the end, you want to get your side at least 20 out of that. Similarly, if you're playing in the top order and you're playing 10 deliveries, the expectation is you'll at least get 15 runs for your side,
yeah,
which means a strike rate of 150. So no, so
yeah,
these absolutely, I'm not surprised, because we've been seeing in those 4 games they're using up a lot of deliveries, but not really giving enough runs to their side, and it doesn't help the team scores at all.
yeah. Fair point.
Yeah. Right, let's talk about the bowling. They use the surface brilliantly, all of them. They use the change of pace very well. And as we discussed already, 4 overs for 28, Bhuvi. 4 overs for 29, Unadkat. Look at Pat Cummins there, 4 overs, 29. Again, economy rates of 7, 7.25, 7.25. Um, you've already spoken about Unadkat, but um, let's focus a bit on Bhuvi as well, because he actually bowled when the ball is hard and new and was
Yeah.
coming on to the bat a lot better. Uh, but to again return figures of 1 for 28 with on a pitch like that, brilliant by Bhuvi.
Yeah, it was his, I think, first wicket of the season. It was yeah, I think it's his fourth match, and he was going wicketless till now. So this was his first wicket, and I think his bowling because look a lot better today. 4 overs, 28 for 1 wicket. I think this is the Bhuvi that we have been seeing in last few years. So I think I'm glad he is back to doing his best. And also down the order, you'll see the issue with you already highlighted what Pat Cummins did. So again, brilliant figures. I think he's now learning to use himself well, and he's the captain, so he understands where are his strengths and where he can be more effective. So I think that's one thing highlighted, sorted for them. And then Mayank Baganda again, I think he's slightly disappointed with his figures. But I think Jaydev Unadkat, we spoke about him. He sort of made up for that. And I also noticed that Jaydev Unadkat's slow bounces, I think I felt those bouncers are dipping a bit, dipping on the batters. That's why it's not easy for batters to get him away for runs. I think this is one thing I also noticed today, because we saw Jaydev Unadkat, we saw Tim David was also not able to hit against Jaydev Unadkat, and so many batters have struggled. So I think Jaydev Unadkat is a very good option. Is emerging as a very good option for SRH. He's doing that, bowling those hard overs for them, and he's doing great job.
Yeah, I just love his slower ball, which never seems to reach the batter. You're waiting, you're waiting,
Yeah,
you're waiting, and it just doesn't reach you. So it makes it very difficult to get away.
yeah,
The spinner's going for 33 in their 3 overs, but you can credit Shivam Dubey for that, because that's what he does
yeah,
to spinners. If you're a spinner, look the other way when the captain's trying to give you the ball and Shivam Dubey is on strike. Um, yeah, so 166 was the target for SRH. And at the halfway stage, we were messaging each other, and I said to you, "This will be over in the 13th over." You said the wicket is slow, so we might see it a bit closer than that. And you were right. It went to the 18th or 19th over. Um, but once they had the power play that they had, thanks to Abhishek Sharma and Travis Head, this was always going to be cruise control mode after that, Sarvesh.
yes. If you are chasing 166 and if you are getting to 70 or 70 75 in your 6 overs, then that means the game is now just about playing sensible shots, sensible cricket, and managing the rest of the overs. Because what you need is just around run a ball, and in T20 cricket we have seen that managing 7 runs per over for 15 14 overs is not a difficult task. You can manage it easily. Any team can do that. So I think not to bring the, SRH in that situation. I think a lot of credit should be given to Abhishek Sharma, because the way he batted, he actually ended that game inside power play, and then after that it was just about when are they going to finish, and it was just about that net run rate calculation, and CSK just had to remain in the game. They just had to delay the inevitable, and I think they did that they did a fair job to a decent extent, because to stretch this game till 19th over after that kind of a power play, I think it was difficult. So, but again, Abhishek Sharma, he nearly ended that game, and he played just 12 balls. So the kind of impact that he had, 308.3, that strike rate, that is incredible. Yeah,
Yeah, words cannot explain the kind of stroke play we saw today from Abhishek Sharma. He's batting as if he's batting on a different planet. He was batting on a different pitch. He was playing a computer game. Call it what you may, but some of those shots were ridiculous. And just he's got it all, hasn't he? He's got the grace, he's got the timing, he's got the power, and yeah, just looks like a great flow of the bat when it comes off. Um, we spoke about this because we do a lot of speaking during the game as well. Um, but two left-handers at the top of the order. You mentioned to me CSK had Thikshana and
Moeen
Moeen
Ali.
Ali in
Yeah.
their ranks, who can turn the ball away from the left-handers. Do you think CSK missed a trick there in
Yeah,
that power play?
absolutely. Now just look at the numbers for Moeen Ali and Thikshana. They have given away 50 runs, took 3 wickets in 7 overs. So that
Yes.
kind of tells you the story. Now just imagine, had these guys bowl 4 overs inside power play, and had the score been around somewhere around 4 overs for 20 runs for 1 or 2 wickets, then we probably would have got a proper match on our hands today. But that did not happen because too many runs were leaked by the new ball bowlers. Mukesh Chaudhary went for 27 in his only over that he bowled. But I mean, even after that, they persisted with Deepak Chahar. He bowled 3 overs inside power play. I mean, I did not understand. And when they wanted to slow the game down, they wanted to, sort of apply the brakes. They brought Tushar Deshpande in for the 6th over, and even that went for plenty of runs. So I think there was some lack of tactical awareness, lack of. I mean, when you have two quality off spinners, I mean, let's get it right. Not a lot of sides have two quality off spinners in them. Most of the IPL teams, apart from Chennai, apart from Rajasthan, who have Ashwin, RCB, who have Maxwell, you do not see a lot of teams having that quality off spinner option. And these guys had two options today and two left-handers for batting. So I don't know what was the thinking. They probably should have brought these guys earlier.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. Mukesh Chaudhary obviously coming back, and he looked a bit out of rhythm. He was bowling in the arc, searching for swing, which really wasn't there. But I'd like to talk more about Deepak Chahar. I mean, his USP all these years has
Yeah.
been his prowess to pick up wickets in that
Wickets.
power play.
Yeah.
And so far in this IPL, we haven't seen him getting like he is the right arm Trent Bolt, isn't he?
Yeah.
He is supposed to be that, but he hasn't been delivering for CSK. And then with his pace, he's not going to trouble anyone.
Yeah.
He's got to swing that ball and find those edges and find ways of getting batters bowled or LBW or whatever. But he's not been able to do that. Do you think, again, coming back from injury, the lack of competitive cricket is really showing now?
I think Deepak Chahar had. I mean, I won't say it was lack of match practice or something like that, because I think we expected Deepak Chahar to do a decent job. And if you look at CSK's bench, they have plenty of options there. So those guys are fighting against each other for that spot. So you expect a lot better performance when these guys get to play. I mean, nobody should take his place for granted. They have Deepak Chahar, Mukesh Chaudhary, they have Simarjit Singh. We saw him a couple of seasons ago. They also have Shardul Thakur, who is not getting games, and then they have those
They have
two.
the Lord.
Exactly. So I mean, there is plenty of competition for those 2-3 spots, but for some reason they obviously have Tushar Deshpande, who is playing all the games. So there are like 6-7 bowlers who are fighting for 2-3 spots. I mean, if this is proper competition, we don't see a lot of teams having this kind of competition for the seamers, mainly Indian seamers. So I think as a senior pro from that team, I think you expect a lot better from Deepak Chahar. you rightly pointed out he needs to pick up those wickets early. I mean, let's be fair to him today. Probably he had Travis Head in the first over. I mean, it was
Yes, he
bad luck.
did.
Yeah, it was bad luck. I think probably his figures probably would have looked a lot better had that catch went to Moeen Ali's hand. I mean, Moeen Ali, for some reason he came a step forward, and then that it became a catch where his reflexes could not manage that kind of a speed.
Yeah,
I think he was too
it
close.
looked it looked like he didn't pick it up, to be
Yeah,
honest, because he was just like surprised by the
yeah,
fact that the
yeah,
balls actually come to him.
yeah.
Um, could this have been the perfect surface for Mustafizur as well? Because
Yeah,
we know on a
yeah.
slower surface he bowls his cutters and he bowls
Yeah.
those slow loopy deliveries. You just felt looking at the surface that they missed the fizz on this.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, they if they had to cherry pick one game where away game where they felt Mustafizur was better suited, then I think this would have been that game. Because we know his strengths. You rightly pointed out those cutters, those slower yorkers, slower bouncers. Is similar to what Jaydev Unadkat does for his time. I think he would have been pretty effective. But again, it would have come down to the tactics again. I mean, I think they failed. They were failed by their tactics today, and not a lot of individual performance. I would blame. I mean, if fast bowlers were going for runs, they should have probably brought the spinners early in third over. So I think I'll give that to brilliant batting by SRH and some lack of tactical awareness from CSK.
Right. If we can just quickly go back to the batting card. Sorry, we're doing a topsy-turvy today. But as we can see, once that power play was finished, it was, as I said, cruise control mode for the rest of the innings. And who better to drive in cruise control mode than Aidan Markram
Eden Markram.
himself, who's been in
Yeah,
brilliant form. 50 of 36 balls. He didn't need to do much. You just felt that he was kind of batting within himself because he knew the target was always
yeah, in reach.
inside.
Yeah,
Um, Shabazz promoted again, probably the left-hand right-hand combination that they required. Getting 18 of 19, good time in the middle for him. But again, he also really didn't need to push.
yeah,
And then Klassen and Nitish Kumar Reddy finishing it off for them towards the end.
yeah.
Um, I guess one last question. We spoke a lot about CSK's tactics in this game and the strategy that they've got. Who does that come down to? Because they've got one of the best captains in world cricket, who's given up the reins to Ruturaj Gaikwad. Does the buck stop with Ruturaj Gaikwad for the decisions that were made, or is it a combined effort between him and Dhoni in this game then?
I don't know. I mean, I hope that decisions were taken by Ruturaj, and I think there must have been a point where Dhoni must have felt that okay, let him take these decisions and let him learn, because this is how he's going to learn. So I won't be surprised if Dhoni had other plans in his mind and he did not. He just chose to not speak to Ruturaj about those plans, and he just allowed Ruturaj to play this game this way so that he could learn, because that is the investment that he would have made today. Because Ruturaj will learn a lot from this defeat. So this is my reading.
Yeah, fair point. Because one thing we know is Mahendra Singh Dhoni loved his spinners, and he would control the game with his spinners. Yeah, you're probably right in saying that it's been a hard learning journey for Ruturaj in this game, but hopefully he will be better for the experience that he's got from it. Um, that kind of sums up the story of the game. What has it done to the league table? There you have it. Has Hyderabad in 2 wins from 4 games?
Yeah,
Yep. Chennai still with the positive net run rate because of that big win that they had previously against, I think it was the Delhi Capitals that they
yeah,
beat.
yeah, yeah. No,
So
they lost to
Chennai,
Delhi Capitals. They lost to Delhi Capitals. It was
oh,
the
they
game
lost to
before.
Delhi. Sorry.
Yeah, the game
Somebody
before.
they beat by 63 runs. I can't remember who. GT.
Yeah,
They beat GT by 63, which is why they've got that positive net run rate still. So
yeah.
holding on to that third place, and Lucknow in fourth and Hyderabad in fifth, stepping up all the time. Um, what have we got in store for tomorrow, Sarvesh?
Tomorrow we have Rajasthan against the Royals. The Royals. The battle between the Royals, Rajasthan Royals, and Royal Challengers Bengaluru.
Bengaluru. Well, another opportunity for Bengaluru. They have to win tomorrow, don't they? I mean, if they don't win tomorrow, if they go 1 out of 5, That's really putting
Yeah,
them in the
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. So if Bengaluru if they lose tomorrow, and then we are going to have Delhi versus Mumbai in a couple of days time. So whoever loses that, and if Bengaluru loses tomorrow, then that will mean that two teams are pretty much out of contention for the top four. So we are now so early in this tournament, but we are coming to that stage where we'll start seeing teams getting sidelined from that contention for the top four, and we mainly see that teams at 5, 6, 7. Those are the teams who fight for that number four position. So I think that gap will start to appear as after this weekend.
Perfect. Well, that's all from us for match number 18 today. Um, Obviously, SRH picking up the points, CSK licking the wounds. We'll be back with you tomorrow again to bring you all the analysis from that game between Bengaluru and the Royals, Rajasthan Royals. And hopefully, we'll get an exciting game that we can analyze and talk to you. We love doing this Sneakometer podcast. So if you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe to our podcast. Please do follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, and as well as our YouTube channel. Please comment, please like, please share, please do everything that you can to support us. And we will be back with you tomorrow. We are Mahendra Singh Dhoni's fans, and we do love him, and we want to see more of him. So I would again like to finish on that lovely poster that I saw today by saying to Mahendra Singh Dhoni, "Abhi na jao chhod kar के दिल अभी भरा नहीं." Thank you for watching, and we will be back with you tomorrow. Thank you so much.